Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Byars. I'm the founder of Corporate Women Unleashed, and I'm super excited today. We have an amazing client success story to share. Tricia is here. She is a CEO. She's already developed one company and kind of spun it off, and now she's the CEO of a new company, and we've been working together for just about a year, and she's got some really great story to share. So Tricia, thank you so much for being here. I know your story is going to have an impact on someone else. I appreciate you being here.
Well, that's exciting for me. Thank you for having me, Kate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's start, Tricia, let's just talk about maybe like where you're at, like what's the results or the outcome of you know, being a part of CWU. And then of course you went on to work with us in Executive Elite. Where do you feel you've gotten, I don't know, results or benefit?
Well, so I think overall, like in a nutshell, basically, you know, the goal from the beginning was a balanced life. And, you know, I feel as far as living a more authentic life on my own terms, I feel like, you know, all the buckets that were definitely either depleted or totally empty or have, you know, a lot more in them. And, you know, I'm focusing on my needs and I always kind of go back to, I really think it's cool that the first thing you ask is, you know, give me 2 words. And I always think of happiness and fulfillment and, you know, absolutely a much more happier and fulfilled life.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So
Excited.
then what was life like before, maybe? Like, in other words, what was working, what was off? Was it work at all cost, or, you know, kind of maybe give us that flavor?
Yeah, so I mean, I basically was, I had co-founded and was acting as CEO of a health services agency. And I basically, it was kind of, you know, all work, no play, and, you know, completely focused on the success of my company, whereas I was even to the point of dragging, you know, my husband in, and so it was affecting our relationship. We were becoming more like business, you know, colleagues rather than husband and wife. So, you know, it was just basically just, you know, living that typical, you know, 70, 80 hours a week, you know, and running your own business. It's not only just, you know, it's kind of, you do it in your sleep. It's almost 24/7, you know, so it's even more than the 70, 80. But the big thing was my health was completely depleted. You know, and I lost a big part of myself. I feel like I just was so focused on the success of the business, and I had like the weight of the world on my shoulders that I didn't, you know, I completely neglected taking care of myself. And you know, right after I had, or before I had started with CWU and kind of took the leap and made the call, I had back surgery, you know, so, you know, I was really just let my health go. And, you know, and the whole thing was in the end, when it really like kind of the light bulb went off, I realized I'm killing myself and I'm still unhappy, going back to my 2 words, and, you know, feeling unfulfilled. So something's not right. You know, it's like kind of once you realize that, you realize something has to be changed, you know?
Oh, I think that's so good, because Tricia, I got that way too. You know, all of a sudden I was like, what am I doing this all for? Like, if this is all towards like this is a means to an ends, but I should be happy at this point. I should be fulfilled. Why is this not like improving the quality of my life? If anything, the higher you go, it's like the quality of life in many ways is, you know, worse. Okay, so obviously your health was important to fix. Was there anything that kind of triggered it that said, okay, I got to do something differently? Because I mean, you'd spent years, you know, 3, 4, 5 years building your company and working this way. Was there a trigger or anything that made you say, okay, I'm putting down the gauntlet, like I got to do something different?
Well, you know, so it was just, I had taken much longer to recover from my surgery than, you know, expected. And, you know, that the doctors even, you know, they told you, okay, everybody's different, but, you know, I figured, you know, I'm a younger person, I should bounce back, but I didn't. But I think because my overall health was so depleted that it took me so much longer. And then I remember thinking it took me 5 weeks, which, you know, sometimes it could take anywhere from 2 to 4 maybe, but it took me 5. And even then I didn't feel ready to go back. I felt really just nervous, and, you know, my mind kind of just went to, what's going to be different. I can't go back to the same. And I know that, I had this 5 weeks to kind of reflect on everything, when you're sitting there, twiddling your thumbs. And as a high achiever, it's a tough thing to be, really not being able to be, getting out and about and have all that time to yourself. But it really helped me to think about all of that. And I just, it kind of was just completely, fear-based about, like, I cannot go back to the same. Something has to change.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you saw it in your health. Had you tried anything? I'm just curious, like, were there any warning signs along the way, or anything you tried along the way to sort of like curb the work and, get a higher quality of life in existence? Like, had you tried scheduling or prioritization, or was it literally the back surgery that kind of woke you up and said, whoa, I need to do something?
Yeah. Well, on and off throughout this whole process of, especially, while building the company, I always tried to think, things are in the back of your head. Like, so I basically tried to do things on my own. I would do yoga class. I would try to, sign up for certain things, but they always kind of went by the wayside when work took precedence, and just everything. I mean, I kind of really realized that I let go of, maintaining friendships, my relationships with my family, obviously my husband, my children, that kind of thing. And, so I kind of always try to do things, and basically just kind of, ad hoc, like whatever I could think in the moment, read books, read tons of blogs and things like online, and try to, test them out, but nothing stuck. And then even from a work perspective, I built the company with my business partner from, our dining room tables to, having 2 locations and, administrative offices and all stuff. And I always thought, as we added a team, things would come off my plate, but they never did, and it was like, so it was like, there was no light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how many people I hired to, as far as building out an operations team or whatever it may be, administrative assistants even, like, it was nice. Okay, I now have someone that can maybe get me lunch every once in a while, but I'm still eating at my desk and, barely, taking a minute to, to go to the bathroom.
Exactly. No, I totally get it. And I'm not laughing. I'm laughing with you. Mm-hmm. I remember one company, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a privilege to go to the bathroom. Like, I went to the bathroom today. Yay. Yes. Okay. So I want to talk about your health now. Mm-hmm. Because you've had some pretty phenomenal health results, overall, because now you're a CEO once again, mm-hmm. and you've got a lot of demands on your time, and things are happening, and you have 2 kids and a husband. Like, nothing's changed. You still have all these things. How is it different now, though? Because now it seems like, like you said, well, like, what buckets are more full?
Yeah, I mean, it's so many things. I mean, basically the main buckets that were, leisure, health, connection. I mean, a big one is esteem. It's something we always talk about in our group and with you. And, but, my health in general, I mean, it's incredible, the changes. I lost 25 pounds. I exercise, or, I'm at least active weekly. I did, my big goal that I had for myself is to be able to, first of all, just get on the treadmill, because I hate exercise. So, and then I made it up to, 60 minutes on the treadmill, which was a huge, goal of mine, and just a wonderful achievement. Overall, just healthy living, healthy eating habits. And the nice thing is, with the healthy eating habits and exercise and all that, I kind of got my husband and son in on it. So even they, have seen effects. They're losing weight and, much more active and all that good stuff. So health has been the biggest thing, but I just, I feel like just my life is a little bit more, not a little bit, a lot more well-rounded, and it's like, now my husband and I are going out and we're going to the theater. I mean, we live, in New York City, or near New York City, outside of New York City, and, we have access to everything and anything. And so now, we're back to taking advantage of going to, hear music at some place, or go to a show, or, just a nice restaurant. And I think even too, like, I think for myself, the journaling and meditation, those are things that I hold like kind of sacred. That's like my time. I have a nice routine every morning, and get my coffee and have a little bit of something to eat, and then that's when I do like my journaling, and then I'll meditate before starting. We work from home, so I kind of made myself, very nice parameters around balancing home and work. And
Intentional. Mm-hmm.
yeah, intentional. Yep, absolutely. And this is the office, and when I come in here I'm working, but when I'm not in here, bedroom, kitchen, that's house and home, and there's boundaries around that, and that's family time and all that good stuff.
So Tricia, it was like, what's the saying? All work and no play makes Jane a dull girl, and Jane's not a dull girl anymore.
It feels so great.
I mean, we don't put ourselves in the mix, let alone first. And I think that's what you were experiencing, right? You were at the very bottom of the list. Work was always first. Then there was, probably kids, and then maybe, husband or the cat or the dog, or you know what I'm saying? And then we're at the bottom. And now what you're saying is you're intentional with your time. You know when to plug yourself in, what you need, how to get that need met, how to experience well-being. And I love that it's bleeding off into, which it always does, our family, our kids and our spouse. They start, benefiting because they, I don't know. I think like with women, not always, but a lot of times we're kind of the instigator or the touchstone, or, the person in the family that kind of gets the family moving in a certain direction. And you've had some tremendous experiences in the last year too. I mean, you guys were traveling abroad, and you hadn't been able to do in a long time.
No, I basically, allowed myself the summer to, and this was a big push, from you and, and part of the program, as far as giving myself time to explore, what I wanted to do and, how I wanted my life to be. And so, I allowed myself to take the time to travel with my family, and we had amazing experiences. I went from back surgery to hiking a glacier in Iceland. So not too shabby.
That's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Because those are the things that life's made of, those are the things we want. And, if we don't create the space for it, but I want to go back to what you said about taking that space. So as you wound down your role in a CEO in one company, there was the obvious pressure, both internally and externally, to like, what's your next thing? What are you doing next? You got to keep that career, the Bunsen burner has to continue to be lit under your career. And it wasn't easy, but you were very intentional in saying, no, I'm going to take some time and really make sure that that next career move for me is something that I'm excited about, makes sense for me, and just take time for yourself. Like, I think everyone thinks like your career has to go like, I don't know, up, 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 up. And it doesn't. You can just say, no, I'm good right here for a few months. I'm going to chill. I love that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I almost forgot too. I became, I was always joking. I mean, I became almost like, a joke about being a farmer, because I had time to garden, which was something that we've been living in this home for almost 13 years, or maybe a little over 13 years actually. And I had always wanted to garden, but, talk about last priority. And I just had so much fun, and that was kind of, something for me to do, to focus on, but yet, it was so different, and all for me, and it was just phenomenal to have that experience. I've already plans of growing and expanding my garden for this summer.
That's so awesome. While she's a CEO, that's so cool. Way to go, Tricia. I love that. Yeah, you are just like, you are enjoying your life, what is meant to be lived. This is all the stuff that we think is going to happen, once we have employees, once we have an assistant, once we get to a certain level in our career, we think we're going to have more time to enjoy our life, and we don't, right? But now it's like it's all coexisting. So exciting. Okay, so what happened as far as, so you went through our original CW as sort of our Keystone program. That's 8 weeks. And then at the end of that, like what made you say, I want to know more about this Executive Elite? Because Executive Elite is our year-long mastermind. It's a much smaller, intimate group. But what was it for you? Or, what made you say, like, I need to keep going?
I just think I loved everything about the first 8 weeks, and it just felt so good that I just wanted more. I was like, I just could kind of, almost see what the possibilities were, you know, and all the, you know, the good techniques that you teach us of like, you know, kind of, you know, owning or being, trying to pretend like, you know, you're the person who you want to be, you know, put yourself in that place and whatnot. And I just knew at the end of the weeks I had, you know, learned so much and gained so much, but I just kind of felt like I'm not going to put any limits on this. It's kind of like sky's the limit.
Yay. And it's so good that you did, because look at all the things that have happened last year, from your health, from Iceland, from this new exciting opportunity in front of you in your career. You got two beautiful kids who are, gosh, almost, well, they're both adults, but, you know, young adults that are just thriving. And what's so cool is that you're able, you know, to just revel in it. You know, it's not happening in the background of your life anymore. Like it is your life.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like, you know, the thought of who that person is that is who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not someone you're chasing or trying to get to be.
Yes.
Oh gosh, I can remember that. Yes.
And it was so difficult to wrap my brain around that. I remember, you know, it's kind of, it just felt so strange. And it's like, you know, kind of, you know, it just a weird, you know, way to think. And I just was like, okay, I'm just going to say, this is who I am, whether I'm doing this or not. And all of a sudden you're just doing it.
And it became you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. It's so awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, any, I don't know, any last minute words or, you know, thoughts? I mean, obviously, you know, other women are going to see this. A lot of women are out there, you know, struggling and suffering in success, feeling trapped. I mean, you were certainly in a position that was a big breadwinner role, and, you know, your income matters quite a bit to your family. And I think a lot of times we think we don't have choices. And we do, right? It doesn't have to be such a trade-off, but I don't know, any words of wisdom or thoughts that you would pass along to someone else who's maybe in that, you know, in the same shoes that you were in a year ago?
Yeah, definitely. I really think that it's about really just investing in yourself, you know, or putting yourself first. I really just think that was the key for me. That was the one thing that I just had to keep reminding myself through the whole, you know, process, is that all of, you know, without the growth and the change and, you know, just being a happy person, you know, just feeling fulfilled, like, you know, it everything else kind of doesn't matter, you know, and you're not going to, you know, I know it's kind of cliche, you know, if you don't put your, you know, if you don't take care of your health, how can you take care of others, and those kind of, you know, sayings. But I truly believe that is true. And one of the things that I always say, the quote, and I feel like, you know, you've said it a million times, and, you know, others in the program have said it, and Laura has said it, but it doesn't have to be that hard. That is like the biggest takeaway. That's my mantra, because I have the tendency to make it hard. And I think a lot of us do, you know? And so I think that has always been, you know, like, I think I'm going to get that tattooed somewhere. It doesn't have to be that hard.
And you don't have to give up success along the way.
Yeah. And it's just so, it's like almost hard. It's even living it, it's hard to believe that it's true. You know, it still takes time for that to sink in.
Yeah. Do you ever have that? I had that for a while. Like I would wake up and go, wow, this is my life. Like it happened. Like this was the life I was looking for. Now I'm living it. And then you're like, is it going to go away?
Yeah.
to like really soak it in and go, I really can live with this level of freedom and fulfillment and happiness on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty huge.
I mean, I think that every morning, like when I'm journaling and meditating and doing my thing, and it's like, I know, you know, most of the world has already started their day at like 5, 6 a.m. and they're all, you know, I'm getting emails, you know, from people I'm working with and my team. And I'm kind of like, okay, everybody chill. I'll see you in a little while. Like, and it's not, and I'm like, but everything's going well and it's successful and it's working. So it's like, wow. Okay. You know,
it works.
Yeah, it works.
I'll take this life. This will be my life. I love it, Tricia.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And guilt-free, you know, it's kind of like, no, you know, this is cool. This is okay.
Cool. That's it. This is cool. That's the other thing we should get tattooed.
Yeah,
this is cool. I agree. Oh my gosh, Tricia, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. You have just been such a committed, you've really just been committed, not just to us in the process. Like, I'm so grateful for that, because you've been a star client in that term, but like, it's just cool to be around other women like yourself who are really committed to having an amazing life. Do you know what I mean? Because it
Yes.
takes commitment. You know, it's not like you're just going to go pluck it off a tree and be like, oh, I finally found the right apple. No, you know, you got to go through bushels sometimes to kind of get there. But when you do, it's just cool. There you go.
Thank you. No, I know. And, you know, all the women that I've met, you know, through the program, it's just, you know, I feel the same way. It really is. It is a cool thing to, you know, to see others that are, you know, doing the same and to be around like-minded women. And it's been a wonderful experience.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is awesome. Tricia, thank you so much. Totally
Thank you,
appreciate you
Kate.
being here. It's been fabulous. Your words are going to help another woman change your life. So fabulous. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thanks. Oh, I hope so.
I hope so too. It's very cool. Awesome. All right. You're having a crazy day. Go enjoy your day. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, Kate.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.